Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to my full walkthrough of Starfield. In this walkthrough series, I'm going to be taking you through each of the main campaign missions from start to end. Along this journey, I'll be guiding you through those missions, but also showing you some key items. I'll be showing you where to get some collectibles. We'll be discussing all of the dialogue options on each mission, and I'll be showing you where some extra loot is as well. The first mission we're covering in this video is called One Small Step. It is the first mission on the game, and if you want to go and watch some more missions after this, they're all linked down below in the video description under my Starfield playlist. The opening scene of the game has you having a conversation with Supervisor Lynn as you're heading down a lift. As the elevator comes to a stop, your very first objective on the game is going to be to follow Supervisor Lynn. You will walk through the cave until you reach this item here. Lynn is going to ask you to pick up the cutter, so just follow her order and then you're going to get some little side objectives. There's 5 in total and you'll see them via the objective markers on the map, and all you got to do is get to these little deposits on the wall and use the cutter to extract them. Once you've extracted all 5, the game will want you to return to Lynn. But before you do, just explore the rest of the cave because it's a great opportunity just to get some extra loot. You get beryllium once you extract these deposits off the wall with the cutter, and there's quite a bit more of it about. So just have a look and get this before you go to Lynn. With the area explored, now just head to Lynn and interact to continue the mission. As you progress, you're going to enter a cavern and the game will give you a quick tutorial on how to use your flashlights. And then soon after this, you're going to find this strange object. You've got to use the cutter on this object. And once you've done that, you're going to be able to interact with it. And as soon as you do interact with this strange object, you're going to go into this vision. You'll wake up from this vision and Hella and Lynn will be right in front of you. This is now where it heads into the character creation. Just spend some time here to get your character looking exactly how you want. You've got the biometric ID, you can adjust the body, the face. There's so many different options there for you to have a look at and get the character looking exactly how you want it. Once you get to the background of your character, this is your first important decision. For one, whichever background you choose is going to kind of alter dialogue as you go through the story. I'd say that's the least important thing. And the most important thing is the free starting skills that it gives you. There's some very good skills that you can start the game with, and selecting the right background here can give you a head start. There are a whole lot of backgrounds to choose from. I'm going to be honest, there is no right or wrong background to choose. However, if you are looking at this and you're wondering what the hell should I choose, I've got a few that you can take a look at. Starting with Industrialist, I think this is a great background to have because of 2 skills, Persuasion and Security. With the Persuasion skill from the get-go, you're going to find it easier to persuade NPCs in conversation. That can prove very handy. And with Security, you're going to be able to lockpick locks, so you'll be able to open safes and things like that to get some extra loot. Bounty Hunter is another good background. This again has 2 good skills that you start with. One of them is piloting. This enables you to basically pilot better, but also you can get better ships earlier in the game because as you go through the game, you're going to need to have a certain piloting skill to get certain ships. So this is very good to have. The most important one on this though is boost pack training. With your boost pack, without the boost pack training, you can't actually use it. It should be a passive skill in the game anyway, I think, but it's not. And this skill will unlock it from the get-go if you choose Bounty Hunter. Soldier is another great background to choose. Here you have fitness, ballistics, and boost pack training. All of these are great skills. We've already discussed boost pack training, but ballistics increases your ballistic weapon damage. So this is handguns, shotguns, and rifles. That's very good. And fitness increases your oxygen. This is very handy. You're going to want more oxygen as you go into the game, and I suggest getting this skill regardless, even if you don't get this background very early on. With the Diplomat background, you get Persuasion, which we've already discussed, but this is another good background to start the game on because you can get Commerce. Now, the Commerce skill basically allows you to buy items at a cheaper price at vendors, but also sell items for more currency at vendors as well. So if you want a little boost in currency, this is a great skill for you to start with. I would argue that later in the game, though, this skill isn't that important, but it can be very handy early on. And finally, Cyber Runner is another great background to have. This has 3 great skills again. You've got security that we've already discussed, which enables you to start picklocking right away. But theft allows you to pickpocket, so there's extra loot involved in that. And stealth is very good because it's harder to get detected. I think it's harder by like 25%, which is quite a good buff. But not just that, you have like a detection notice on your HUD, which is also very handy if you want to play the game stealth. Again, there is no right or wrong answer when deciding your background. If you like the sounds of something else, just go for it. These are the ones that I like the sound of, and I in the end decided going with Industrialist. Your final option on your character creation is traits. You get to pick 3 of these, and again, there's a lot to choose from, and you may be wondering, what should I choose? So again, I'll advise on a few of these that are very good to use. Dream Home is a trait that allows you to have a dream home right from the start of the game. This is very good. You have your own space on your own planet where you can like fill out with all of your items and whatnot. It's great for storage and things like that. And if something like this sounds good to you, if you like that sort of thing in a game where you have like a very good place to call your home, go for it. It's a good starting trait. I will advise you though, as you go through the game, the dream home that it gives you, I do believe you can buy at a later date anyway. So there may be better traits to choose if you can wait. Next, I highly recommend selecting one of these. There's extrovert and there's introvert. If you go extrovert, you're a people person, and exerting yourself uses less oxygen when adventuring with human companions. So when you go through the game, you'll build a crew, and the more stuff you do with people, the less oxygen you're going to use. But if you go introvert, you really need your alone time. So exerting yourself alone uses less oxygen than when you're with a team. Basically works the opposite of extrovert. Pick whichever one I'd say sounds better for your playstyle here. With Raised Enlightened, you grew up as a member of the Enlightened and you gain access to a special chest full of items in the House of the Enlightened in New Atlantis. And Raised Universal is the opposite to that. You grew up as a member of the Sanctum Universum and you gain access to a special chest full of items in the Sanctum Universum in New Atlantis. If you go for any of these, you will give yourself some extra loot from the get-go, and it is kind of going to be your religion. You will close yourself off from the other one though. And then we've got 3-star Collective Settler, Neon Street Rat, and United Colonies Native. Basically, all 3 of these are attached to 3 different factions. You'll gain special sort of dialogue options for those factions. You'll get better rewards from some of the missions given to you. The crime bounties towards other factions is greatly increased as well, but choosing one of these factions obviously locks you out from the others. If you are to go for one of these, I highly recommend going for either 3-star Collective Settler or United Colonies Native, because both of these cover more of a larger area, whereas Neon Street Rat kind of just focuses on the one smaller area. And the final mention goes to Wanted. This is a good trait because basically you get a price put on your head. Random enemies will spawn in which you must defend yourself against at times, which will give you more XP. But also when you are low on health, you're going to do more damage. I feel that will get you out of some sticky situations, so that could also be a very good trait. The 3 traits that I decided on were Dream Home, Extrovert, and Raised Universal. Once you've decided on those, you just need to pick a player name for yourself. And then after a short conversation with Lynn, you'll be ready to move on. As soon as you gain control of your character again, you can move around. Just look for this lady on the bench in the center, and there's going to be a text log here on space mining. This log basically gives you a tip on watching your CO2 levels, and it just advises you on how that works. As soon as you finish with that log, there's another text log you can find, which is called the Supervisor's Log 1.
Whoa. You don't look good.
Supervisor's log.
Next, you can find Hella's personal log 1.
You all right? Need some coffee or something? Got a packet here somewhere.
This is the personal log of...
And then while in this room, there's a first aid kit that you can find. And then also in this room is a toilet that is out of order. If you open the door, you're going to find some books and a hidden side mission.
I'm working.
The top book that you find is War of the Worlds. And then there's also a book called Oliver Twist. Picking up this book and then exiting the dialogue is going to unlock an activity for you where you must visit the London landmark on Earth. You'll find this activity in your mission log. With those collected and as you exit the room, just look left and you're going to find a briefcase with a spacesuit. And then if you return to the quarantine table where you woke up on, there's going to be some more first aid supplies. Just right of the first aid supplies, you're going to find this orange door. Just interact with the switch to go inside. And inside here, you're going to find Hella's personal log 2.
Personal log. Heller.
Just right of this log, you are going to see this cage here. There's it's basically security door locked and you need to be master level to get in there, so don't worry about this for now. But right of this is a storage box that you can loot. With that collected, you just want to head to Hella and Lynn now, and you will find another storage box just before them.
How'd they sucker you to join? Fall for the fancy pamphlets?
There is just one more collectible to find now while we're in this area before we go outside. And it's the Supervisor's log 2, which will be found just in this room here.
Supervisor's log supplemental.
With the area fully explored, you'll head into the airlock now, and you'll be taken through a tutorial on how to put on your helmet. So just follow that so that you can go outside. Once outside, feel free to explore a bit because you will find items dotted about. Nothing of importance though, just some loot to sell maybe. And then follow Lynn up to this platform. A spaceship is going to come in and you're going to meet the client. You will have dialogue with a guy named Barrett, but the options are not that important, so handle these how you like. And you'll eventually be interrupted by some pirates that have followed Barrett. We now get to use a gun and kill some people. Equipping that gun though is actually an optional objective, so just make sure you do that. It's on the left side as you go down the ramp, and it's the Eon pistol. There's also a first aid kit to collect. Once you've got that, you just need to equip your gun in your inventory menu and just take care of all of the enemies. With all of the enemies gone, your next objective is to go and speak to Barrett again. But before you do, I have a top tip for you. Whenever you do have any encounter in this game, you are able to loot the bodies. Some bodies have some very good loot and credits, so make sure you're doing this, especially if you're facing like legendary enemies or bosses. They'll have the greater rewards. Even teammates might die as well. They are also lootable. Once you are ready, just head over to Barrett to continue the story mission. Again, there's going to be some dialogue options here, but none of them are that important. This is going to plan out the same either way you go about this. So answer them however you want to. And you'll be gifted with Barrett's ship at the end of that dialogue. You'll have to enter the ship, but before you do, there are some first aid kits as you go through the entrance door here. Just collect them and then head up the ladder. As soon as you're up the ladder, there's an audio file to find, which is called Barrett Personal Slate 2. You can find the Barrett Personal Slate 1 audio file just over on the navigation console.
You know the drill, Vasco.
After collecting that, you can check out the navigation console to see how that works. Right next to that console is a research station, so have a look at this to see how this works. You'll probably need materials to get any of these projects done, and at this moment in the game, you probably won't have them. And then if you just move over to the kitchen area, you'll find this galley. Again, you may not have the materials that you need to craft or cook any of this, but when you do, you'll be able to use this to cook yourself some food. Just left of the galley, you'll also find another audio file called Barrett Personal Slate 3. With all that done, you just want to enter through the hatch now. And before you interact with the marker to continue the mission, there's a few more points of interest. The first one is just on the left side, so just left of that marker, you're going to find this cargo hold. This has a lot of items in there to begin with, so you can take them if you want, but it also acts as storage for you. You can transfer up to a total of 450 mass into this. So if you do collect a lot of loot on your travels and your mass is too heavy like mine is now, you could deposit this loot into this storage on your ship to make yourself lighter. And then once out of the cargo hold and directly opposite is the captain's locker. There'll be an item in there for you, but this also acts as some storage. It's not as good though. It's only got a mass of 40, but it is some extra storage for you if you need it. You are now ready to continue on with the story. So go and interact with the pilot seat, and you're now going to enter a tutorial on how to use your ship. The tutorial is very straightforward, so I'm just going to let the game do that for you. You are going to encounter a battle in space. You'll have to take out some other ships. You are going to have to loot ships as well. My only bit of advice for you is the best thing I took from that tutorial is the speed that I am going at. So pressing up and down on your left analog stick, or if you're on PC, whatever buttons they are, you can see kind of on that center circle there, you've got your speed. If you want to loot stuff, just go really, really slow as you approach the object. You practically stop. And if you want to get closer to something, just push up and go fast to get closer to it. As long as you're doing that at this point in the game, it doesn't really matter where you've invested your ship's power. You'll be okay. Once you are finished with that tutorial, the game is then going to give you another tutorial on how to travel to places as you'll be heading to Crete. Once you land on Crete, your objective is straight in front of you. You'll see an objective marker as well. It's a good idea to get your scanner out at this point as you're traveling to your objective, because there may be some enemies you can kill for loot, or there might be some materials attached to the wall like earlier where you can use your cutter to extract it. If you want to get some loot on the way, there is some to find. Another good tip is while you're in your scanner menu, if you've got an objective pinned, it will give you arrows as to what is your best route to that objective. As we head into the Crete Research Lab, there are some key items to find again, so we will go through those for you. As soon as you enter, there's a storage box you can find just here, and then right of the storage box is a med supply. As you go through the door and into the next room, there's some stairs going into an office. There'll be some more med supplies here.
Space. It then stands to reason that this was once a secret UC facility.
And then as you head upstairs and enter the storage, you're looking for storage room 1, where you're going to find another storage box. As you enter the kitchen, there's going to be some more first aid supplies for you. And then push through to the cafeteria, where you're going to encounter your first set of enemies. Remember to loot all of the enemies that you kill and then proceed through to the living quarters. Up at the top of the stairs, you're going to find a Living 01 room. Just enter this room for some med supplies. And there is also this computer. You can interact with this for some lore, but otherwise it holds no more purpose that I'm aware of. From this computer is now your first opportunity at cracking a safe. Just in this room here, in the same room, you're gonna find this safe, and right next to it is the item you need to crack it. That item is a digipick. Now, this is quite difficult. I'm going to cover a whole video around how to use these. And while I was playing through this, I failed miserably. I'm going to try and give you a quick idea on how to do it now. The game does pop up this message the first time that you do this that explains it, but it's still quite tricky. So when cracking a lock with a digipick, you can see on the right side there, you've got 4 different circles and each have got different notches on them. In the center of the screen, you can see where the notches have got to go. And if you use one of these notches to take out some of the spaces that are in the center, they'll be covered, but then you do need to have the correct notches left to continue. I hope that kind of makes sense, because from the beginning, probably out of those 4 different ones we've got on the right there, multiple ones could work, but only one of them is going to be the right one. You've kind of got to plan ahead with your thinking here. Now, I completely failed this, like I said, so I can't show you me completing this. Later in the video, though, I do think I crack one safe, so have a look at that one. But it's planning ahead, and it's just making sure that you're leaving yourself with the correct notches on the right to continue once you've done the one prior to it. I do think you also need the security novice skill to be able to do this. So if you've not unlocked that yet, you may not even be able to attempt this anyway. Once finished with the safe, you can head to the break room to find a weapons rack. And then continue down the corridor until you get to lab 1. But before you do go in, just look to the left here. You're going to have an ammo case and some med supplies. With those collected, you can now head into lab 1 and you've got another enemy encounter. With all the enemies dead, and before you head up the stairs, make sure you loot the enemies as I've been advising. But in this office here next to the stairs, there's another computer you can explore if you want, and a weapon case. Then head upstairs and take out any more enemies, and you're looking for this research 1 room. Inside here you'll find another weapon case, and just behind the door in this room you're going to find some medical supplies. From these supplies you now want to head over to a pharmaceutical lab. Just left of that lab is some materials, just make sure you pick that up. And then inside this pharmaceutical lab, you're able to craft some medical supplies. You won't be able to craft a lot at this moment, but just craft what you can. Exit the lab and you now want to head into research 2. There's going to be more enemies to take care of in here, so get your guns ready. And as soon as you open the door, you will see some meds right in front of you. With the area clear, and after you've collected that med kit, just around the corner from that is a testing 1 room. Now, I don't have a digipick at this moment to get into this door. I also didn't know how to do lockpicking very well either. But you will pick some up later in the level. If you have any spare, you can come back here. If you get inside this door through lockpicking it, you're going to get Hayden Wynn's project terminal, a safe, and an ammo case. From here, just head upstairs to continue the mission, and you're going to go through this office. Inside the office is another computer, but also Dr. Wynn Emergency Slate 1. After that, just head through to the storage room, and there's going to be some ladders here that you need to climb up to go and meet the captain. Before you do that, though, there's some items of interest on the floor. You'll see a digipick, or a couple of them, a safe, and another collectible. Make sure you pick up the digipicks, and then the collectible is right on top of the safe and is Dr. Wynn's Emergency Slate 2. And then with that collected, you can have a go at cracking the safe, providing that you've got the novice security level. This is an optional objective on this mission as well, so it's better if you do it because you get some extra XP, and it's the first safe that I actually cracked. I did, however, use all of the digipicks that I had. If you manage to do this with any spare, you could go back at this point if you need to check out that room from earlier. So just continuing on from the conversation before about lockpicking, what I'm doing here is just aligning all of these on the right. So when I do input them, I'm not cancelling out any of the others. You can see how I do this. As long as you do it right, every single sort of symbol on the right will fit as you progress. And that's what you're looking to do. And that's what I mean about looking ahead. Don't lock yourself out. You'll be able to lockpick this safe and get your rewards and complete the optional objective. With that done, just climb the ladders to get to the roof access, and before you head outside, there are some more medical supplies here on the floor, and right next to it you've got some loot in the science crate, so make sure you pick all of that up and then head outside, and you're going to start a dialogue with the Crimson Fleet captain. And this is kind of like the first dialogue where it can go one of two ways. You can try and persuade the captain to settle things peacefully. That'll help if you do have the like persuasion skill. Or you can choose to fight it out and kill him. I highly recommend that you do choose to fight it out and kill him because he has some good rewards on him. This will be your first legendary enemy that you face on the game though. And notice how he has the 3 red bars of armor. That's kind of how you know that it's a legendary enemy. You've got to take his health down 3 times in order to kill him. It's not too much of a tricky fight at this stage in the game. Just stay well away from the enemies and you'll get him done and get the loot. With all the enemies defeated, be sure to loot them, especially the captain. And I think he can drop different items, so you may not get the exact same as me, but he does have a higher chance of dropping you good loot. Like you just saw there, I got a rare item. Once you are finished exploring this area, you are now done and need to head back to your ship, and the game will advise you on how to do that. Just bear in mind though, if you are over the weight of your like max mass you can carry, you won't be able to fast travel. You may need to drop some items. Just make sure that the weight you're carrying is okay, and then you want to return to your ship. Once we are back at the ship, we're going to be heading to Jemison to continue on with this mission. You need to take off into orbit, and you're now going to be probably performing a grav jump for the first time. Just in the bottom left hand on the corner here, in order to do a grav jump, you just need to take one of the stats out from one of these. I just took it from the shield and put it into grav. You're not going to be able to do a gravitational jump without that, so make sure you do that. From the mission menu, just make sure that you've selected the next objective, which is grav jump to Jemison. And then on the galaxy menu, you're going to see the direct route to where you need to go, and you can just hold the button to jump. As you arrive at Jemison, it is going to warn you that no contraband on the ship is allowed, and you're going to have to get scanned. You shouldn't need to worry about this right now, but as you progress through the game, if you do have contraband, this can get you into trouble. So be very wary of that. But just bring up the planet, and you'll see where you need to head to. You need to go to New Atlantis. The marker should be on the planet as you've selected it from the mission menu, and you just need to set it as a landing target. With it set as a target, you're able to land on the planet. Once you have landed and got off your ship, you'd have discovered New Atlantis, and an optional objective is to speak to the engineer that is right in front of you. Just speak with him and exhaust the dialogue options if you want to. By doing that, you'll learn all the different things that you can do for your ship, like repair it. But once you finish with him, just head to the right to this terminal here, and you're able to use this terminal to trade. It will sell you some items, but you can also sell items to it. In the top right corner, you can see the maximum vendor credits that it has, which is 5,000. So at this point, if there's any loot that you want to sell, even if it's in your storage on the ship, you can just tab across to see that. You don't need to go to your ship to get it. Sell it whatever you want to get some credits. If you do run out of credits that the vendor has, you can simply return to orbit and come back, and that should reset it so you can go again. And once you finish with the terminal, you now just want to follow the objective marker, as you need to go to the lodge, which is in the Mast District. As you approach the marker, you'll head onto this train, and that will take you there. Once you arrive in the Mast District, again, just follow the marker. This is going to take you all the way to the lodge. Inside the lodge, you want to enter the door right in front of you, and this is now the end of the mission. You're going to interact with an NPC called Sarah, who is going to ask you some questions. She'll want to know why Barrett isn't there. You can choose to lie, if you want. But if you're honest with her, I think that's the best policy, because she's going to ask Vasco to verify the information you relay to her. I'm not sure what happens if you do lie, so I just suggest that you be factual. Once you are finished with that dialogue, just listen to the rest of the meeting about the constellation and the search for the artifacts. And as soon as you regain control, you're going to find a constellation guide right in front of you on this table. Your next objective is to now place the artifact on this table in the center. Just go ahead and do that. The artifacts will then start moving around, and you just got to listen to the rest of this meeting. You will get to talk to Sarah again. She's going to ask you if you're ready to join them and help them, which I think you got to do anyway. Doesn't matter what dialogue options you choose here, but you can learn more about what is going on if you want to. And then once you finish this dialogue, you will have completed the very first mission on the game, One Small Step. You'll have earned many skill points while you're going through that mission, so now's the time to head into your character menu, have a look at your skills, and just put them where you want them. If you are struggling on what to decide with here, some skills I highly recommend investing in from the start is the fitness skill. This basically increases your oxygen levels, which works very well if you don't want to keep on running out of oxygen all the time. The weightlifting skill is something that I also advise that you do. It works hand in hand with fitness because it increases your capacity of the items you can carry. When you run out of capacity and you go over that, that's where you use more oxygen. So having a higher capacity means you'll lose less oxygen, and even when you do get higher with the fitness, you'll have more oxygen to use. So they kind of work very well together. Under tech, you've got the security skill that we mentioned earlier. I highly advise this because you're going to want to lockpick those saves that you come across. So make sure you invest into this as soon as you can. You've got the persuasion skill under social. We've already discussed this in this video. There's opportunities where you can persuade NPCs. This skill is going to enable you to do that easier, and the higher the rank, the better it is. The medicine skill under science gives you med packs, trauma packs, and emergency kits 10% additional health and 10% faster. And I highly recommend getting the boost pack training. We've already discussed this earlier in the video. If you don't have this yet, you can't use your boost pack without it. Invest in this so you can use it, and then invest further to make it even better. Once you've put one skill point into any skills on these skill trees, you will unlock rank 1, but you can't unlock rank 2 right away. Once you've unlocked rank 1, you're going to get a challenge. You can see here with the boost pack training, boost jump 10 times while in combat. Once I've done that, I'll unlock rank 2, and then I'll be able to spend another skill point to get it to rank 2. There'll be another challenge to go to rank 3 and 4 and so on, and every skill works like that. Before we end this video, there's one more thing I want to show you. Just outside of the room where you finished the mission and got your rewards, one of the rewards was the lodge key. To the right here, under the stairs, is a door that you can unlock with that lodge key. Just unlock both of these doors and head downstairs. You want to go down this corridor here, and at the end of the corridor, take a right. Go straight ahead into this room here, and to the left, you've got some armor that is locked in this case. This case requires you to be master rank at lockpicking to unlock it. So we're nowhere near that. There's a little trick right now you can do to still get it. Just to the left side of the door here is a gap, and if you look through that gap, there's a way of you kind of interacting with the mannequin. You'll see it's still saying door locked at the minute, but if you just crouch, it makes it a little bit easier. And what you're trying to do is just get it so it just targets the mannequin. You can see that's just happened there. Once it's done that, just interact with it, and you've got the Mark 1 pack, Mark 1 space helmet, and Mark 1 space suit. Grab this, and you'll have this in your inventory to use without unlocking that glass cage. Now, they may fix this by the time you watch this video, and if they do fix it, you might not be able to do it, but definitely go and check, because look at the stats. The current suit I am wearing, the Mark 1 spacesuit, is so much better, and to have this so early in the game is going to be very beneficial. It's the same for the space helmet, and it's the same for the Mark 1 pack. These are also very high in value. I don't advise selling them right now, but if you did want to sell them, you'd get yourself an enormous amount of credits for early in the game. And that now does bring us to the end of this walkthrough. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it's been helpful. I'm covering every main campaign mission on the game in this way. And the next one's going to be the old neighborhood. If you want to see any more missions like this, just go down in the video description. There's a Starfield playlist there. Go and check it out for all my Starfield content. Don't forget to hit like and share as well if this video has been helpful today. And subscribe for more also. I'd appreciate it. Until next time, thank you for watching. Stay safe and peace out.